A man wakes up one morning with the worst hangover and no recollection of the night before. Slowly opening his eyes, he sees a bottle of aspirin and a glass of water on the bedside table. He looks around the room to find his clothes neatly folded on the dresser with a clean shirt on top. The bedroom is immaculate. On the bedside table is a note that says, "Darling, your breakfast is in the kitchen. I love you." Downstairs, he finds his favorite cereal, croissants, fresh OJ, and freshly brewed coffee waiting for him, along with the morning paper and his 15-year-old son who is finishing his own breakfast. "Tell me, son," he asks, "what happened last night?" "Well," says the boy, "you came home so drunk you didn't even know your own name. You nearly broke the door down. Then you were sick in the hallway. Then you knocked the furniture over, and when mom tried to calm you down, you thought she was the police. So you gave her a black eye." "Christ," says the man, "then how come my clothes are all folded? The house is tidy and my breakfast is ready. When mom dragged you into the bedroom and tried to get your pants off, to put you into bed, you shouted at her, 'Get your filthy hands off of me, you whore. I'm married.'" A man walks into a bar and asks for a beer. After drinking it, he looks in his shirt pocket and asks for another beer. After drinking that one, he looks in his shirt pocket again and asks for another beer. This happens about another 7 times before the bartender asks him, "Why do you keep looking in your pocket?" The man replies, "I have a picture of my wife in there. When she looks good enough, I'll go home." A philosopher and scientist were being chased by a lion. The scientist looked back and made a swift calculation. Puffing, he said to the philosopher, "We can't outrun it, you know." The philosopher was slightly ahead. He replied, "I'm not trying to outrun the lion. I'm trying to outrun you." A man is driving to work and is called on his mobile. It's his boss saying he's been promoted. The man is so happy his car wobbles in the road. A little while later, there's another phone call and he's been promoted again. He is so happy he swerves into the middle of the road and back into his own lane. Later, there's another phone call. For the 3rd time, he's promoted. He's so overwhelmed with joy that he swerves off the road and bangs into a tree. A passing car stops, a man gets out and says, "Are you alright? What happened?" And the other man replies, "I careered off the road." A man goes into a shop and starts looking around. He sees a washer and dryer, but there are no prices listed on them. He asks a salesman, who says $5 for both of them. "You've got to be joking," the man says. "No, that's the price," the salesman says. "Do you want to buy them or not?" "Yeah, I'll take them," the man says. He continues to look around and sees a car stereo system with a detachable phase cassette player, a CD changer, amplifier, and speakers. "How much?" he asks. $5 for the system, including installation, the salesman says. "Is it stolen?" the man asks incredulously. "No," says the salesman. "It's brand new. Do you want it or not?" "Certainly," the man says. He looks around some more as the salesman is ringing up the purchases. The man asks him, "Why are your prices so cheap?" The salesman says, "Well, the owner of the shop is at my house right now with my wife, and what he's doing to her, I'm doing to his business." A pirate walks into a pub. Another patron, having never met a pirate before, wants to know the stories behind the battle scars. He buys the pirate a pint and strikes up a conversation. "How did you get the peg leg?" "Shark took off me leg in the South Seas." "How about that hook?" "Lost a hand in a sword fight." "And the eye patch?" "Seagull pooped in me eye." Are seagull droppings really that dangerous? No, but it were me first day with the hook. 5 men were sitting around the table at a restaurant bragging who had the largest dick. Finally, one guy said, "I'll settle this. Let's all put our dicks on the table. That will decide it." At about that time, 2 gay guys walk in and were seated. The waiter asked them if they'd like to see a menu. The gay guys responded, "Oh, no, we'll just have the buffet." Georgie is walking down the street after a sex change operation has transformed him into a beautiful woman. An old friend sees him and says, "Georgie, you look great. You're beautiful." Georgie says, "Thanks, but holy Christ, did it hurt?" His friend says, "Well, they cut open your chest and put in those implants." Georgie says, "No, that didn't really hurt." His friend says, "Well, they cut off your dick and dug out the vagina." Georgie says, "No, that didn't really hurt." His friend says, "Then what did hurt?" Georgie says, "Well, the doctor drilled a fucking hole in my head and sucked out half my brain." In a train car, there was an Englishman, a Frenchman, and a spectacular-looking blonde and a frightfully awful-looking fat lady. After several minutes, the train happened to pass through the dark tunnel, and the unmistakable sound of a slap was heard. When they left the tunnel, the Frenchman had a big red slap mark on his cheek. The blonde thought that French wanted to touch me and must have put his hand on the fat lady by mistake, who in turn must have slapped his face. The large lady thought that dirty old Frenchman laid his hands on the blonde and she smacked him. The Frenchman thought that freaking Englishman put his hands on the blonde and slapped me by mistake. The Englishman thought, "I hope there's another tunnel soon so I can smack that French again." The magician is very happy because he has got a job on the Titanic. So he gets on the ship, and that night he does his act in front of hundreds of people, but doesn't get very far for his parrot keeps giving away the answers. It's under the table. It's up his sleeve. It's behind his back. The magician goes off the stage very depressed. And this happens again and again and again, until one night, unfortunately, the ship hits an iceberg and sank. Luckily, the magician and his parrot escaped in a lifeboat. They sailed on and on for days without seeing anyone. And through all of this time, the parrot had a look of total confusion on his face and didn't utter a single word. The magician thought that the parrot must be sick of hunger, until one day when the parrot said, "Okay, I give up. Where have you hidden the stupid ship?"